I finally have come to the end of the line, and I think I have waited about as long to keep an ill-kept secret as I possibly can, and it's not a secret anymore. In fact, I do not intend to run again this year, and I gave a lot of prayerful thought to this. I've been in public service for a long time, Mr. President, and it's very hard to contemplate what life will be like without it. But I hope that I have not embarrassed anyone too much, and so I want to stop now before I do. And I really thought about what it has been like for me to be in the Senate, and it was quite a change from what I had been doing for 13 years in Alexandria, in the city of Alexandria. I thought that there could not be a bigger challenge than being the mayor of Alexandria. You meet people who want something or need to discuss something with you, even at 11 o'clock at the Safeway. And they know where you live, they know what your phone number is, and we can hide a little bit down here, which is not always a good thing, but the telephone and email has expanded that horizon now, expanded all of our horizons. Making a difference among 40 talented people from all over the Commonwealth has been a difficult task, given the varied backgrounds of each one of you. Because of regional differences of opinion on most issues, it's quite often challenging to achieve a basis for understanding for the need for many of these legislative issues. My primary challenge in Alexandria had been working on setting up an early childhood program. A director for early programs was hired, and many volunteers and semi-professionals made sure correct regulations regarding space, number of teachers, etc., were available for all centers and home daycare providers. When I arrived in Richmond, however, there were many regional differences of opinion blocking what was viewed as the amazing meddling in family issues, an intrusion into private family rights. I don't know where the senator from Lynchburg is, but he and I served on the rehab committee way back then, and there was, Mr. President, there was a lot of discussion about the issues and of need for regulation back then. Through my years in Richmond, it's been wonderful to watch the evolution of public opinion relative to the real need for regulation, protection, and special care given to the children not in family care. And that is a privilege to have an opportunity to stay in family care. And things do change in the Senate and General Assembly, sometimes contrary to public opinion and sometimes slowly, but it does happen. And one of the examples I think of is it's heartening for me to see the caring for the health and protection of the Chesapeake Bay across the partisan divide of the Senate. And that's been so for several years, many years. As a senator of Virginia, my views have expanded markedly since 1996 when I came. When we talk about the Commonwealth of Virginia and its oneness, I feel a true spirit of caring about every nook and cranny in the state. It has proven true time and time again that if one portion of the state is not doing well, for example with education or the economy, the whole state suffers. And Mr. President, my good friend, Delegate Marion Van Landingham told me that when I first came down here, and I'm not sure that I understood it as well as I do now. It's amazing to serve also on different boards and commissions and to share expertise with others in this body. I learned much more from the Science and Technology Commission than I could ever imparted, and it has been that way with the Joint Commission on Health Care. It has been enlightening to witness the shift in viewpoint about the need for compassion and assistance to those who have made mistakes and been incarcerated, and their need to be reassimilated into the community. The ability and willingness of public officials and other human beings to not only be open to this change in perspective, but to forgive has been inspiring. If given a boost when leaving incarceration, individuals are equipped with tools to be real contributing and tax-paying members of the community. There have been many extraordinarily talented and resourceful people in the Senate during my tenure. In particular, with a smile, I think of Madison Marie for the entertainingly enlightening Uncle Billy stories. And to this day, I continue to dearly miss Emily Couric, who was moving so passionately toward a strong and influential political career when she lost her fight with cancer. Each member of the Senate makes a unique contribution to the strength and character of the whole body. I also think of people with whom I've not necessarily shared regional opinions, such as the far Southwest. What a privilege opportunity it has been to get to know them. I knew I'd have problems, excuse me, by visiting and meeting with their local people. There's always more give than take at these meetings, and I'm grateful for all the insights I've gained and the graciousness of their hospitality. As well, I am grateful for having been part of the National Conference of State Legislators, which offered me so many interesting and productive opportunities to meet officials in all capacities from other states. I will truly miss my home away from home in Richmond, and in particular the family members that I have come to rely on and deeply appreciate. The support of everyone in the clerk's office and all the lobbyists who are so committed to their missions has been tremendous. It has been the privilege of a lifetime for me to know you, and an honor for me to have been of service with you in support of this beloved state as a member of the Senate of Virginia. I will truly miss you. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator. In representing their interest. She's also done a great job as a leader here. I mean, people would often say to me, what does the chairman of the Senate Agriculture Committee who lives in Old Town have, in common with farming? But people just don't stay their whole life in Old Town. They get around the state. And she also was a huge leader on environmental issues. Senator Ticer, we're really going to miss you. I mean, you've just been a real dear and just a great person to know, and I just consider it a great stroke of fortune that I ran across you during my lifetime. And again, I thank you on behalf of everyone here.
Senator from James City County, Senator Norman.
Thank you, Mr. President. Point of personal privilege, please.
Senator has the floor.
Mr. President, I was listening very carefully to the emotions that were coming from the senator as she read her remarks, and I was taken by one particular word in your entire text. And you made a comment, and I think it was sincere rather than parenthetical, and that was that you hoped that you had not embarrassed anyone or yourself. I think it's probably those of us in this body that ought to be somewhat embarrassed that we have not emulated on a consistent basis your ladylike demeanor, your empathetic advocacy of the issues that you have adopted with sincerity and passion. And I say to you that your graciousness is something that we will all emulate. And while we will miss you, we will not forget your gracious demeanor and that which you have contributed.
Thank you, Senator. Senator from Northern Fairfax, Senator Howe.
Mr. President, point of personal privilege.
Senator has the floor.
When 16 years ago, when Senator Ticer came down to Richmond, she was already really well known in Northern Virginia. As mayor of Alexandria, she was a role model for women who wanted to get into politics. She and a woman I'm sure she remembers, Martha Panino, were the two powerhouse women in Northern Virginia, and they both gave such wonderful examples for the rest of us who were just a little bit, not much, but a little bit behind. When Patsy came down here, in fact, in Northern Virginia, if you said Patsy, everybody knew who you meant. Patsy was, of course, Patsy Ticer. There wasn't anybody else. But when Patsy came down here, I think she realized something that many of us realize. What's obvious in Northern Virginia isn't necessarily obvious in Richmond. And I'm sure whatever part of the state a person is from, they have that same experience. But Patsy has persevered on her beliefs. Human services and the environment have greatly improved because of her work. And I just want to thank her for her grace and her wisdom and her example to all of us who are interested in politics and serving. Thank you, Pat.
Thank you, Senator. Senator from Bristol, Senator Wampler.
Mr. President, point of personal privilege.
Senator has the floor.
Mr. President, I did not know the announcement was coming today, and I must say that my comments will be those of spontaneity and somewhat emotional. I've had two deskmates from the city of Alexandria, and I must say that the most immediate past deskmate from Alexandria not only took his desk, but he took mine. And it was a busy session for those years, and then we found a new senator from Alexandria. And I must say that one thought I had during her remarks was the time when the Senate Finance Committee had traveled to Northern Virginia and we were in Alexandria. And the former member from Montgomery, Senator Marie, made the comment after having traveled through Old Town that it would be awfully hard for an aluminum siding salesman to make a living in Alexandria. When east meets west or north meets south, one never knows. And while we may have had disagreements on issues, I can tell you one thing about our friend, Senator Ticer. She's a gentle lady. If ever there was a person who could walk onto this floor and command the attention and respect of all other 39 members, Senator Ticer certainly is the lady that fits that bill. And I would close by saying this, that if no greater tribute can be paid to say that a district represents a member that represents them, Alexandria is a great place, and we thank you for your service, Senator Ticer.
Thank you, Senator. Senator from Arlington, Senator Whipple.
Thank you, Mr. President. A point of personal privilege.
Senator has the floor.
You know, Senator Ticer and I came to Richmond at the same time, starting here in January of 1996. But we'd really known each other for a very long time before that because we both started in local government in the early 1980s and had many committees and boards on which we served together. So we were already friends before we came here, and certainly being here has just strengthened that friendship. Patsy's a wonderful advocate for the things that she believes in, and she would keep on and keep on. Persistence was also a quality. As we found when we got to Richmond, it was quite a different environment, and amazingly enough, not everyone agreed with us. So it took that advocacy and that persistence to get some things through. And just sitting here, I've been thinking about her work she did to change the name of the department. Demersas to the word to be used, intellectual disabilities. That took a couple of years, I think. And I remember her work in making sure that newborn babies are screened for hearing problems, something that hadn't been required and yet makes a huge difference in those children's life, and her persistence in trying to make sure that hearing aids could be supplied to those infants who needed them. She certainly has had a leadership role on environmental issues, and as we know, they didn't always pass. And Patsy would be a little perturbed. Why would it be that people wouldn't agree with that absolutely wonderful idea and good thing to do, but it just didn't always happen? She's been a wonderful chairman of the Committee on Ag, Conservation and Natural Resources. But I was sitting here thinking about another commission that she served on and probably nobody paid any attention to. For a number of years, she was on a national commission for the accreditation of police departments. And faithfully, about every 3 months, she would travel to some place around the country, and it wasn't usually, San Francisco. It was more like Omaha or something like that, where she would spend several days going through these applications and voting on whether the police departments had met those accreditation standards. And she spent about a week before she would go down there reading all the material that's in it. It's kind of work that doesn't give you a lot of attention, but she did it in a very thorough way and represented the Senate of Virginia very well in doing that. Always gracious, always polite, a wonderful friend. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator. Senator from Southeastern Fairfax County, Senator Pollard.
Thank you, Mr. President. A point of personal privilege.
Senator has the floor.
Patsy just told me today that this was what she was going to do this afternoon, and I knew it was coming, but when she was giving her remarks and she was gulping up in her throat, I was doing the same thing. I'm going to miss you, friend. And Dick was exactly right. She is the most popular person in Alexandria, and they are going to miss you terribly. I mean, I don't think they'll know what to do, and I know there are people lining up to run for the seat, but it won't be Patsy. But it is amazing in Alexandria, because it's a small sort of, it's not such a small city, but it seems like a small city. And I think Patsy knows everybody in the city. And she certainly knows everybody at St. Paul's Episcopal Church. Patsy and my district are very right next to each other, all the way from Alexandria down to parts of Lee and Mount Vernon in Fairfax County. So I see Patsy rather regularly at all of the things that we have to attend, some of which are fun and some of which are not very much fun. But we regularly go to them, and she'll call me up on a Saturday afternoon and say, "What's on tonight?" And I'll say, "I think maybe nothing." "Oh, no, there's something on. I think UCM is having something." And I find out, and so we agree that we'll meet up and go to that together. We've also gone to NCSL together up in Philadelphia. Had a very interesting ride up there. And I think she will be mostly remembered for her hard work for land preservation in this state. Worked very hard for that and on all the environmental issues. And I remember well when you and Mary Margaret came here. I was still in the House of Delegates. You could not believe the different opinions that you met up with when you came to Richmond. And I said, well, just stay here a few years and you'll really understand it better and then figure out how to change their minds. And you've done some of that too. But we will all miss you and remember your grace and ladylike charm at all times. And I look forward to seeing you when you're relaxed. And maybe we can have a glass of wine together. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Senator. Senator from Prince William, Senator Colgan.
Mr. President, ladies and gentlemen of the Senate, I first met Mayor Ticer when Jack Kent Cooke and Governor Wilder decided they're going to locate the Redskins Stadium in Alexandria, and they forgot one thing. They forgot to clear it with Mayor Ticer. And when Governor Wilder arrived and from Richmond and Mr. Cooke arrived from Middleburg, they met Mayor Ticer, and she, in no uncertain terms, told them Redskin Stadium would not be located in Alexandria. So Governor Wilder came back to Richmond, and Jack Kent Cooke went back to Middleburg, and the stadium went to Landover, Maryland. All because of a very quiet, gentle, very feisty person who certainly could assert herself when she had to. And the bigger they come, the harder they fall. But she is we've heard the term many times, Virginia gentleman. But Patsy Ticer is truly a Virginia lady, a real lady. And we're going to miss you. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator. Senator from Spotsylvania, Senator Howe.
Thank you, Mr. President. Point of personal privilege.
Senator has the floor.
Patsy, say it ain't so. Say it ain't so. You know, I've enjoyed so much having you as a desk mate. Oftentimes when you and I sit here in the quiet, I look over and I see the majority leader and I think, thank you, Lord, for giving me Patsy Ticer.
Mr. President, is there a compliment in there somewhere?
I'm not thinking so.
I would only say that the term Southern lady, I can think of no one that I've met in my life that epitomizes the term Southern lady better than this sweet, sweet individual right here. Patsy, when you came to the Senate, and Dana and I got to know you and your beloved Jack, it was a true blessing. Getting to meet individuals in this arena is a real joy, but getting to know you and Jack and the times we've had together were really valuable times. I thank God that my life has crossed with yours. You're the sweetest individual I think I've ever known, and I just wish you the very best. Godspeed.
Thank you, Senator. The junior senator from Virginia Beach, Senator McWaters.
Mr. President, I rise for personal privilege here.
Senator has the floor.
Yeah, I can't build upon those great stories, Senator Ticer, but I would like to just add one story that if I don't tell now, I'll never have another opportunity to tell, so I would like to spend a second. As I was coming on the job last year in the first week in the darkness of the parking garage of the library, I was getting out of my car, and a car, a little Prius in fact, pulled up next to me, and flashlights were going off, and I was wondering perhaps someone was trying to break out of the car. I wasn't sure exactly what was happening. So as I got out, the senator got out, and we began to walk up to the General Assembly building, and she gave me some advice. And I began to think about the flashlight, and so I decided I would inquire of her as to why she was using the flashlight. And she said it was a new car, and it didn't have an interior light. Well, I began to think more about that, and being from Kentucky, I thought I could probably fix that with duct tape or something, but what I decided to do was get my aide to go out and look to see if the switch was in the proper position, which he was able to do, and we were able to have, thank you, for my first attempt at bipartisanism. I appreciate that, and thank you for your graciousness. Thank you very much for being here.
Thank you, Senator. The senior senator from Norfolk, Senator Miller.
Thank you very much, Mr. President, and to all of the senators and to Patsy. When Patsy came to the Senate, I was already here, and I was so glad to see some additional women come to the Senate. And it made me very happy to learn about your part of the world and to observe your movement and your interaction with our colleagues. One of the things that I have learned from being in the Senate is that each person brings something special. And a part of the specialness that you brought was a very soft voice, but a lot of power. It's like having gloves on, but knowing that within that glove there will be enough skill and enough know-how to wield the kind of power needed to get the job done. Some of us have big voices. Some of us have soft voices but big authority. You fall in the latter category, and it's been a great joy to work with you. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator. Senator from Roanoke City, Senator Edwards.
Mr. President, on a point of personal privilege,
Senator has the floor.
Along with everyone else here, I'm going to miss the gracious, sweet lady from Sweetbriar College, who has been mentioned before, has been without a doubt, I've heard consistently, the most popular public official in Alexandria, and has been for years. You go to Alexandria, everybody knows her. She knows everybody, and she epitomizes Alexandria. She lives in Old Town, as you know, in a beautiful old home in Old Town, and she represents that community as well as anybody could possibly represent a community. She would be an example for all of us of what a senator should be in the community, representing the values, representing the interests of her community, and she's been so effective for so many years. As a member of the class of 1995, along with the Lieutenant Governor and the Senator from Arlington, the Senator from Lynchburg, the Senator from Augusta, and others, I'm going to really miss you, Patsy. There's nobody who's served with greater dignity, greater sense of grace and compassion and commitment, steel commitment to her beliefs and her values, the environment, children's issues, human services. Patsy, you can be a hard person to replace. I don't think you can be replaced. I'm going to miss you. Thank you for letting me have the joy and honor of serving with you. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Senator. Those are nice words, all well said and well deserved. Are there other matters to come before the Senate? The Senator from Harrisonburg, Senator Obenshain.
Mr. President, point of personal privilege.
Senator has the floor.
Mr. President, I was going to rise and have a few words to say. I didn't know that the gentlelady from Alexandria was going to make this personal announcement. Before I make the comments I'd intended to make, I simply want to say that the gentlelady from Alexandria is truly a gentle lady in every sense of the word. I think that as I look around the chamber, I have a hard time finding anybody that I haven't made mad at one point or another. I even had the senator from Chesapeake mad at me and red in the face at one point in time, if you can believe that. But I can honestly say that if I have ever gotten the gentlelady from Alexandria mad at me, she has concealed it wonderfully well. She is a sweet woman, a tremendous legislator. She carries herself in a friendly, bipartisan fashion, and is somebody I always enjoy time with. And I join in the voice